Hey, Birkett here, along with Carlos Monarrez, back from the bye, Carlos, and the Lions are back as well, looking to go to 2-3 this week. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars in lovely Florida. I will be down there getting a tan, uh, hoping the game doesn't get postponed because of COVID, like so many games have. It seems has happened here in recent weeks. But hey, I wouldn't mind if my flight got delayed a little bit and I got to soak up some of that Florida sun on the way before I come home. So, how was your bye week, man? Everything good?
We got a puppy. That was the headline. Kind of a last second decision, but we have a little 11-week-old collie. So
Wow.
she's been keeping us busy during the bye week and a little bit now during work week. So
All right, so we got a
fun.
name A, and was it like had the girls been asking for this? How did it come about?
It's my wife's been asking for it. So she was really attached to our previous colleague who passed away this summer. So we're all dog people, but she just loves dogs, and she thought,
We might have lost Carlos here. This is hey, look, I know that the frozen screen with Carlos's face right now is going to get a lot of love here on Twitter as he's talking about his dog, but we'll wait. Maybe he can reconnect because as we're recording, as we've talked about before, these things happen in the Zoom world. Um, if not, then we'll just end up reshooting. But that's all right. I think Carlos is logging back in as we speak. I have my trusty phone here. So look, Carlos got a dog this week, but we're going to talk about cats, and that's the Lions against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And look, this is a thing where this is a game the Lions should win. Frankly, I mean, Carlos and I will talk about this when he logs back on, but to me, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of the three worst teams in the NFL from a talent standpoint. And I know things haven't been going great for the Lions so far. Obviously losing the three games they have in the manner in which they have, where they've squandered those double-digit leads that they've built. But Jacksonville is a team that's really devoid of talent on both sides of the ball. And look, I know James Robinson having a nice year as an undrafted rookie at running back. Gardner Minshew has probably overachieved in a lot of ways from what people thought he would be, coming out of the draft a couple years ago. But right now, I mean, Jacksonville was without two of its receivers at the start of practice this week, two starting receivers. This is a team that's traded away a lot of its premium defensive talent in recent years: Jalen Ramsey, Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell. So I just, if the Lions don't win this game, it could be, curtains for Matt Patricia. I mean, I don't know how you come back from being 1-4, but also having lost to the team, the Jacksonville team that this was a stat that I tweeted out earlier this week. I saw this come across Twitter. The last 3 weeks, they became the first team in NFL history to lose to three straight winless teams, to give those teams their first win. So that's the type of opponent that the Lions have now. And I know the Lions I know Matt Patricia, spoke highly of Jacksonville the other day and how explosive some of the offensive talent is. And obviously, they've got a pretty good defensive player in Josh Allen, a young rookie cornerback, and CJ Henderson, who's a good player. But to me, this is a game that the Lions really should win. And if they don't, there's not really, any excuses. I guess we'll get to predictions here in a second, because as I said, Carlos is still booting back on. I guess this is when you live in the big palatial estate that Carlos does, sometimes it's tough to connect, have your internet connectivity, depending on what room you're in. So, he can be forgiven for this one, or maybe it was the new puppy chewing the cords on. I guess he's probably not connected, but you never know, right? Carlos is Carlos. So, in any event, look, to me, the biggest key for the Lions, there's two things that I want to see coming out of this bye week from them. I want to see them get more pressure on Gardner Minshew. They've one of the worst teams in the NFL, bar none, right now in terms of pressuring quarterbacks. And talking to Bo Davis this week, I'm going to write this for Freep.com later today. He was talking about, hey, we're playing, these running quarterbacks, and maybe that's a reason why we haven't gotten some of that pressure. But that's no excuse for me. So I want to see more pressure from quarterbacks. I want to see the Lions create some turnovers like they did in their only win of the season against Cardinals. And then I want to see Carlos's pretty face for an entire Zoom session when we do this, because Carlos, I was just telling the people that when you live in a palatial estate like you do, sometimes, I mean, the internet connectivity is tough, right? I mean, like, I don't know where your router is. If maybe it's in the guest house, right? I don't know what wing of your house you're in, but that's why we have some of these issues pop up sometimes. So
The butler carries the Wi-Fi, the router around from wing to wing. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was that or if the dog had chewed through the computer wires or something like. Because hey, puppies, yeah, it's been a long time since you had them.
That's probably good.
They chew on a little bit of everything. So, yeah. So no, look. I was asking you before we.
Absolutely.
I was asking you before you conked out on us before you ditched us. Name of the dog? Do we have a name for the dog?
Delilah.
Delilah. Okay. Starts with a D. I can handle that. Not too bad. So, all right. Let's hop into the Lions talk here because I just gave the people a primer on what we'll be talking about. To me, the Jacksonville Jaguars are one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL. And this is a game the Lions absolutely have to win. And if they don't win, and I think they will, spoiler alert, but if they don't win, I don't think there's any coming back from that, frankly. If you're Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, this is just, no matter what Matt Patricia says about, hey, Jacksonville, they have some talent and they're explosive on offense and, Josh Allen's a good pass rusher. All true. You should still beat the Jaguars.
Yeah. This is, we talk about this a lot when we make our season predictions and, we have like these overall, 8-8, whatever it is, but it's also about when those losses come and to who those losses come, or the wins too. They're not all equal. And this is definitely one of those, it's a must-win game. I mean, you don't beat the Jaguars and that's a tough look. That's just not, you can't really explain that. You look at the Lions' losses. Actually, you add up all those records. You look at the records of the teams they've lost to. Those teams have good records right now. They're turning out to be decent, pretty good teams. The Packers are probably going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, they're just this monster right now. So, you look at it as the season kind of progresses. You see who you are, and the Jaguars are who we thought they were. They're pretty bad. I mean, other than maybe the Jets and I don't know who else, maybe the Giants or something. They're really terrible. So they have to win this game. And they really should win it handily. But at this point, they'll take an overtime win. They don't care. Whatever it is, those guys are desperate for a win.
Completely. They just need a win, coming off the bye. They need to get that good vibe going because, as you sort of alluded to, right, like this is a very manageable part of the schedule coming up. Not only Jacksonville this week, but Atlanta next week. That's another team that is not playing very good football, and now look, Atlanta's better than Jacksonville, right? And that's still not, that wouldn't be a good loss if the Lions lose it. But, when you're playing Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and some of that offensive talent, you can at least say, all right, I can see what, where that offense can get going. Carolina, who, give Matt Rule credit. They're doing it with smoke and mirrors, I think, but they're 3-2 right now. They're coming up, obviously a Minnesota Vikings team that hasn't been playing great football, Washington. So there are some very winnable games in this stretch here. And it doesn't mean the Lions are going to win all of them, but if they are the team that, internally they think they can be, these are all games that they need to win. This is the stretch where they need to stamp themselves as being playoff contenders, I think, for, this regime to gain its footing.
Let me ask you a question. This week we've been asking the coaches and the players, you see the schedule the way we see the schedule. Is there a chance here for you guys to start, finding your way and getting a little to a man? Oh, do you believe that they're just, they're not even looking at what they, because I think that creates pressure when you think about sometimes, these are 3-4 really winnable games coming up, they have to talk about it amongst themselves in the locker room, right?
They know what the schedule's like. I mean, look, Matt Patricia is not looking ahead, right? I mean, Matt Patricia knows what's coming up, and in the back of his head, he knows, like, yeah, we can get in a little bit of roll. Right. But it's not like he's looking ahead to Atlanta or any of the other teams on the schedule, right? Indy, but he how he is. He's very focused on this week. But it's human nature, man. You understand what's going on. Everyone in that organization understands what's gone on the first month of the season and the pressure that's on this team to win and the opportunity that's in front of this team. So I think that without a doubt, they have a firm grasp on the importance of winning this week and the opportunity that's in front of them here in the weeks ahead.
I always find it funny how whenever we ask this question all the time every year, especially when they're losing, and they always end that they like what schedule, and we're not asking like, you guys are already preparing for the Carolina Panthers, right? How are you going to beat them? We're not asking that. We're just like, you are aware of your record, their record, and what's coming up. There's they just like, what? No, never. In every other sport it's like, yeah, we know we got a tough coming up and this and that, and we got to manage our, but in football it's just like, what? There's the world exists beyond Sunday. I can't believe that. It's always this denial, but they know that it's coming. The time's coming for them, and they should be on the better side of the ledger, I think, in a few weeks.
No doubt. All right, so we're gonna get into predictions here in a sec, and we don't want to risk any more internet issues, so we'll make this relatively short here. But I've got two questions for you. First, I was just talking when you log back on about the things that I'd like to see happen this week, right? I need something to come. I need that defense to show me something, right? Pass rush department, run stopping department. Like, I want to see that defense make strides to believe, maybe there's some, we've talked about, right? Like, I don't know if they can beat good teams because they haven't already, but in order for them to beat good teams, I need to see something out of that defense. So that's the biggest thing that I want to see from the Lions this week against Jacksonville, is something out of that defense. What's the one thing above all else that you want to see from the Lions team this week? Not talking win, right? We all know win, but just something that happens on the field. Player, a position. What do you want to see?
What do I want to see, or what is possible that's going to happen?
Yeah. What's most important for you to see, to have get this? I know you're internally optimistic about the Lions, but to make that eternal optimism feel real for other people, what's the thing that you need to see out of them?
I think the thing that you keep talking about, and the thing I think that's most important, is just stopping the run. That helps everything. It's, they've been talking about the reason they haven't been getting, pass rushing opportunities or sacks is because of the down and distance situations and all that. And it's true. If they don't have to pass, you can't, rush the passer, as you have to, guard against the run. You can't stop the run. So that they should be able to do that. I'd like to see them do that more, but yeah, that kind of starts everything. So I think the run would be good.
Makes sense to me. And then before we get into our prediction, Jaguars, does Jacksonville score more than the Dodgers did last night? Is that what your Dodgers put up? 15?
Yeah. 15. Yes, 15.
Okay, so did the Jaguars
stop watching actually in the seventh inning? I couldn't take it anymore. I was so bored.
I mean, look, we all know Atlanta's going to win the series still, but does Jacksonville score more Sunday than the Dodgers did Wednesday night?
Yes, I'll give them a little bit more, just because the NFL's built to have close games. Jaguars, I mean, they play the Titans tough. They beat the Colts, so they're not. I think they've scored 30 a couple times, maybe. So. They can put up some points, and that's the thing that I think we're going to come away with this game from, is that I almost said the Dodgers, that the Lions can't close the door, defensively, that they were up by a lot and they let the Jaguars back in, and it's like, okay, whatever, a win's a win, but the defense didn't look great still. So I think they'll score more. I think they'll score more than the Dodgers. Yeah.
All right, give me your prediction. What do we got? What's the final score here?
I'm gonna go with 30-24, Dave. Lions.
30-24. All right. Look, I have the Lions winning too. Jacksonville, you mentioned it. They have played some good games. I mean, winning in week 1, I think that surprised a lot of people. Don't know the injury status of their top 2 receivers. They were both out at practice Wednesday. Obviously, if they don't have those guys, that's going to be detrimental to their offensive success. I still think they score more than the Dodgers too, mostly because it's against the Lions defense. But I think the Lions win by 10 points here, 11 points. I have it 28-17. So I think it's going to be a little more lopsided than you do. But I think we both agree that Lions have to win this game, and ultimately they're going to fly home from Florida Sunday night with a victory in their pocket.
And don't forget, there's going to be fans at the Jaguar Stadium in attendance. However, they're so excited that the tickets are still available according to Jaguars.com at this game, even in limited attendance. So.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Everybody clamoring for football to come back, and the some of the locales that it's been back at. Well, those tickets in Miami, I think the case was the same thing, where they were opening it up one week and they were going to have 14,000 people, and they ended up with like 12,800 in attendance. So, as much as people want to see football back, I don't think that's all coronavirus related. Why people are staying away. I think they also see the product on the field a little bit. But hey, for Lions fans down there who only get a chance to see their team once every 8 years, great opportunity to get some tickets. So hopefully we'll see you at the game on Sunday. Carlos, Dodgers, are your Dodgers coming back? They're going to win this. They're going to win the series?
Yeah, I said it. 6 games. It's going to be 6 games.
6 games. All right.
The World Series?
Well, we'll talk about the World Series next week, right? I mean, we have time to get through. They have to get past my Braves first, right? Ronald Acuna,
This series, are they going to win this series? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Your buddy, your boy Acuna will get hits. That's all you care about is your stats and your baseball team that you're addicted to, fantasy baseball. So that's all you care about, really.
Ronald Acuna and Mike Trout have been carrying my fantasy baseball team for years, and that's not about to end. So I'm a Ronald Acuna fan, mostly this series because it's against your Dodgers. But I would like to see, and because you have your Carlos Cup that you continue to show off here in our videos. So, but Braves are winning this series in 5. No more wins for the Dodgers. All right, that'll do it for us.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that'll do it for us here in unstable internet connection land. We'll try to be better next week, just like the Lions. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, Freep.com.